You speak Thai, huh?
Ít nồi, ít nồi.
How do you say Terrance in motion in Thai?
Terrance in motion, huh?
I saw a comment the other day, and it made me realize that there's something about our community that we never talk about. And I had to sit with that because she's not alone. That's an entire generation speaking. In a lot of Black families, especially ones raised in poverty, travel isn't seen as something that you do for joy or for leisure or for exploration. It's something that other people do, something that isn't reserved for us. When you grow up in an environment where you're pretty much taught that struggle is normal and you're in survival mode, anything outside of the basics seems extra, right? Taking care of yourself is extra. Dreaming is unrealistic. And travel is impossible. And a lot of it comes from our homes, our current and past, struggles. When dysfunction becomes normalized, and a lot of it comes from our homes because dysfunction is pretty much normalized. Expecting the basics or expecting certain things as a child is seen as being not content, greedy, wanting more. And there's nothing wrong with wanting more as a child, but you don't know that because you're taught that it's wrong because they don't have more to give you. And in regard to travel, that's just completely out of the picture. I remember when I first started my journey as a solo traveler, most people that were commenting on me leaving out of the country, older family members, they were asking why. Because to them, travel had to have a purpose outside of leisure, outside of leisure and fun and enjoyment, or just because. Travel has to have a purpose. You're going to visit family, you're traveling for work, there's something you got to do across town. They don't view travel as something you can do and enjoy just because, And a lot of times in our community, there's a lot of things that we do that isn't the norm in our community that's labeled as white people stuff or white people shit. What it comes down to generational dysfunction. And that is something that we tend to pass down. And when you have your grandparents that couldn't pour, or grandparent that couldn't pour into your parents or parent, and then they in turn can't pour into you, certain things that you don't experience that other people experience, it becomes completely out of the question. And your time on earth is more about escaping it than experiencing it. See, coming where we come from, you don't look at life as something you enjoy, something that is a gift. You look at it as something that you need to avoid. It's like a prison sentence sometimes. And a lot of that is a result of, coming from impoverished communities. We're not afforded the same things because we don't have the same resources. A lot of it comes from our homes. Parents overwhelmed, stretched thin, stressed, depressed, having children without any type of stability. We grow up thinking that the world is something that we're in, but it doesn't belong to us. Something that we're a part of, but not somewhere we actually belong. Meanwhile, in other communities, they take yearly vacations. It's expected. It's normal to them. They grow up believing that the world belongs to them. The main thing that lady was speaking about was not about the vacation. She was talking about possibility and the fact that most dreams die before they even get a chance to become a reality. And I relate to it. Growing up, you're not taught to have a certain sense of entitlement when it comes to things around you or even the world. I mean, even in our community, speaking about that, many Black Americans don't consider America theirs as much theirs as it is a white Americans. It's because we're not taught that we are a part of this world. We're normally taught that we're just surviving it. And that is a mindset that I had to break out of. And I've learned that a lot traveling. I've actually learned that a lot traveling. And yes, I'm in motion now. I'm traveling, I'm moving around. But honestly, that mindset is a hard thing to break because it seeps into other areas of your life. I know the video is mostly about travel, but it is it is completely like a lens being over your eyes. You know, it's like it's an entire worldview, and you don't understand that with that lens over your eyes, everything you look at is filtered through that lens. And traveling isn't a privilege; it's perspective. It's healing in a sense. It's breaking a cycle. And some of us are the first ever in our family to touch a passport, and we're the first to realize that the world is a lot bigger than the life that we inherited. Only 36% of Black Americans have a passport, as recently as a few years ago. And it's not because we don't want to travel, it's because it just doesn't seem real. It doesn't seem like a possibility. Most Black parents, a lot of us grow up in single parent homes, they work multiple jobs. So vacation is not even a conversation that you have. Vacation might be when your mom gets a break from work and you go to the park, or you go to maybe a local theme park or something, or maybe just even go down the street, ice cream or something. That was the extent of travel for majority of people that come from our circumstances. The truth is that generational trauma affects opportunity. When an entire community spends generations fighting for basic rights and needs, or even understanding that they have them, joy becomes a luxury, not something that you actually believe you can obtain. They say that exposure is the thermostat of reality. If you never see the world, you can never imagine yourself in it. I actually had a conversation about this with DeMarcus, young DeMarc. We were actually touring luxury condos, like luxurious condos, big ticket condos. And the comment I made to him was that if we had grown up seeing things like this, we would believe it's possible for us to have these things. The truth is that you can't really imagine yourself in the world if you don't see the world. Part of my branding and my name is Terrance in Motion, and I'll give a backstory about how that name came about. But now that I'm I guess you could say in motion, doing things that are different from what I'm used to, things that take me outside of my comfort zone, things that I'm familiar with, I'm starting to see more opportunity in things and starting to see the world from a different perspective. I'm starting to see the world far beyond what Terrance, as a kid even imagined. And that's what it's all about. Because if you can't put yourself out in the world, you can't imagine yourself in it. And you will feel as though it's something that is not regarded for you, something that you are not supposed to have. That uncomfortable feeling usually comes with being unfamiliar with things. But a lot of it for us, when we travel, especially a lot of Black travelers that I've spoken to, a lot of it comes from us feeling like we don't belong. But the truth is, the world belongs to everyone. Every family has that one person that steps out and breaks the cycle. Getting a passport is a huge step. And that person just might be you. Poverty often steals perspective, and travel gives it back. When you travel, you can see that the world is a lot bigger than the neighborhood that you grew up in. It's a lot bigger than your community. It's a lot bigger than the things that you even consider as normal. Black people have always been taught to endure, but we were rarely taught how to rest or explore, or to simply exist without struggle. Other communities grow up with travel as a normal part of life, but we have to build that normalcy from scratch. Breaking cycles means rewriting norm. Black travelers make up less than 6% of international leisure travel. And it's not because we can't. It's because for generations we're taught that we shouldn't. So although this perspective is from a person that is Black, this can go for anyone who was raised in poverty, anyone who was raised in a dysfunctional community or family and have never even had the idea or the inkling of traveling. Well, I'm doing it now, so you can do it too. The truth is that you will have to be the first person in your family to break the cycle. Because if you don't, no one else will. So you got to get out there and you got to see the world. Peace from Terrance in Motion.